You can see the clock. It's almost 6:15. And I didn't do that on purpose. I just think it's weird how many times I've sat down and then start and then I turn around and look and it's like, what? 6:13? And I have the red light on, so it looks weird for Morty. It's like I'm so overwhelmed right now. Um, so I want to share some of the overwhelmness, but I mean, the things that come to you are going to impact you, you know. So all I'm doing is like trying to shed some of the impact, because it's like, oh my God, man, it's like for the past 2 days too. I have been getting hit with this same information, and yesterday, so I had messaged the one place where I'd picked him up at the, it seems how it works is like a rescue committee, however they start it. A couple of people get together and decide to start rescuing, but then it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so there's like the rescue core people. And then when they start going and getting all of these dogs, because then once they start getting involved, then they start seeing that the high capacity, like it's a lot. And so then you have to go and you have to get these dogs from these shelters. The shelters aren't sending them out. There's all these different rescue groups that do it, and they've got all these transporters. And so the transporters go down and get them, and then they take them and dump them at a place that is a rescue, is part of the rescue thing, but she's not going to foster them all. It's just kind of like the filter system. So then it all goes to her, and then people have to come, the foster parent, the people who say they'll foster have to come, but she kind of gets stuck with a lot, and then she gets them like where nobody knows their personalities or anything. Like when I was listening to her yesterday, I was like, oh man. But it just gives me more view of how it works. And so then the foster people, whoever we all are that sign up, and you just sign up online. It's just like, okay, I'll help. They do vet you like a small, like, it's not big. I mean, it was like, I don't even know if it was because mine was on 4th of July, but another lady said it was real quick too. So it's not like some long thing. And then um, you go and you know, pick a dog if you want to have a dog. Like the lady next door, she's fosters, but she hasn't had one since she had those puppies. And she said that wore her out. But, you know, I mean, she's doing single mom thing with 3 dogs and 2 kids. So, and it's kind of funny, you know, like with 3 dogs, it isn't, I had 4 kids. That was some wrangling. Like, I don't know, it's not as hard as that. But I'm not going to add on more. There's hell no, I'm not adding on more. Um, and it was kind of like yesterday, even when I was there, it just kind of was like, okay, no, I'm just going to. Morty was just being so like, he's still being this way today, but keep in mind too, because there's other people over here, because I'm seeing TikToks of other people saying, you know, oh, I live in Seattle. Well, summer lasted all of 7 weeks. We got, and, you know, it's already just total fall. I mean, it's crazy. And keep this in mind too, because we've been so oversaturated for so long. And gosh, I have a couple stories going at once. So it's like I got to figure out which direction. Okay. We're going with the illness, because that was what I was going to start with to begin with. And we'll see if I wrap back towards the story of yesterday with the dogs, but it all kind of goes together, so I'm sure. But so consider this. So we're here in this wetness. Now it's been a few years, and I've been saying how extreme it's been. It's like a constant flood in my yard, constant flood. Then it goes, and then it rains and floods again, and nothing dries. And then there's no heat or anything. And don't forget that one year when they sprayed all the trees out here, and it was like these splashes of orange, and all these trees were dying. A bunch of trees died. I had a tree come down yesterday, or a couple days ago, when it was like, I didn't even know it was that windy. And I was walking the dogs, and I come walking back up, and there's a tree. And I was like, where did this tree even come from? I couldn't even figure out where it fell from, and it wasn't a huge tree. I would have known, but it was, and it was weird. It was weird. It was like, I keep having really weird things happen, really weird things. Like, where'd the tree come from and why? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And so I just took it in the back and I'm just going to cut it up for firewood. But what it seemed to be is that they sprayed something and then it started being like all this white stuff started going up the trees, where I was like, I think it's some kind of mold. And then other people were looking at it, and there was other people, like when this was going on, this was a few years ago, and we were going on TikTok, so I'm sure I talked about it on here. So some of you guys who have been around that long who remember. But so I was talking about, I thought it was like mold or something on the trees, that it's like they've sprayed something and it's causing this. So I was thinking, because all the dogs got sick. And I'm like, right now I'm having the worst head. Like, I'm feeling so weird right now. It feels weird. Everything feels weird. Like, fuck, man. God, it feels weird. Um, so, um, so let's try and clean that thing and see if that is a smudge or not. Hold on. So that must have been a smudge. So I mean, there's trees that are dead. I have two right in front of my house, like right here. One of them is giant, 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 and it costs a lot of money to get the trees taken down and stuff. And I've been, like if I was supposed to be doing that, then the money would come to me. It would be, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you just got to get in a groove with your your communication or something, because it's like I can look up at them, I can see that they're dead and they're gonna have to be taken care of, but then it still is so like up in the air about how things are gonna go, even though like my son-in-law is gonna come and he's gonna do the roof of that other building, but it's like that has to be done. There's no way that roof could go another, and it's already started with this. It's like, fuck, they're going to be hitting us hard. And I don't want to be over here. And, so that is on my mind a lot, is, and my son-in-law, he would probably he would be good for him to be, or my ex-son-in-law. It would be, but it's hard when when your daughters get together with them and they're so young. And then they're like, oh, this is your son, this is your son, this is your son. And you start like, I mean, there's points where you have to look at him like your son. Otherwise, you would just become a controlling old nitty, don't do that. And so you got to just be like accepting and loving towards them, or you drive yourself fucking crazy. And you'll create division with your kids and you. So anyways, I look at him still like I love him. I don't look at him like, I mean, you divorced him, but so anyways, and it would be good for him and his healing, to get out of, I don't know, I think he's got himself around some toxic people and stuff. So anyways, it would be good for him to be over here and working on this place. It was so good for me and my healing. I just can't, it's like what they used to do to become a man, go out in the woods for a year and make it, take care of yourself and see what you're made of. And it's so true. And it is so soul cleansing, especially if you've been beat down and then you see like, fuck, I can do a lot of shit, man. I'm pretty fucking cool. And so it's like you build yourself up. You pump yourself up by all the things that you find out that you can do. But you never were pushed to do it. You never would have done it. So anyways, I talked about before how much I think it's a good idea to spend time on your own healing. But anyways, but I would like to get out and get to a drier place. And so what I was been thinking, and then there's more to this, like, because I have been thinking like all of this water, because it was weird, like all of the dogs, especially, as soon as the weather, and I bet you he has arthritis too. So I think he seems to have like a little bit of uh, allergies. I think it is, and he definitely looks skinny. But he's eaten. Like yesterday, he ate some meat stick, a few pieces of that meat stick, and then this morning I gave him some pieces of chicken. So he ate some pieces of chicken, but he just like everything when he smells it. But I've gone through this with Stella so much. And then when we in our drive, Stella started having some kind of thing, and then she started being something that was really fucking panicking me. It was hitting me with the PTSD so hard, and I wanted to talk about that part of it. And but I still want to talk about this other thing. So but and Max is having all these like something that keeps itching him. I gave him a bath, but it's back by his tail too. And see, that has happened with Stella. And so I think, I'm gonna watch some more stuff and try and figure out this anal gland thing, because it's part of their fucking bullshit system. You want to go and do any of that kind of stuff, well, you have to have the records. They better be up to date. Yeah, and it's like this fucking corporation bullshit. Oh yeah, and I just heard this lady saying all this interesting stuff too about the DNC, because now she went to the convention. She was also somebody who was real involved with the party, and this one turned her, where she's just like, and so she said, so it's waking a lot of people up. That's why the absurdity and the extreme things that are just so outrageous that I can't even stand to watch. It just fucking pisses me off. But you got to keep reminding yourself, like, it's movie to wake these people up. It's extreme, and it is working. And she said a whole bunch of good things. Hopefully, I might be able to get that in there too. But so here I was thinking, okay, so we've got whatever these different things they spray, because these are long fucking, they know how to hit us with these never go away things. And so, and they put them inside of us and stuff. And then they use other things to create a bunch of bullshit. And there's more coming out about that bullshit, because they're hitting us really hard right now. Because what the whole thing is about with their attacks on us, it starts with the bio and it ends with a pawn, and in between there's a weh. So you put it all together, and that's what we are being under attack, assault of for since we were born, since the very first one of these. So you think about all of the stuff that's been coming down for years, and the big spray thing, and then it killed all these trees. And I couldn't believe it when the trees came. There was a lot that came back because they looked like they had cancer or something. For one year, they were so sparse, and it looked like it was pitiful. I cried about it a few times. It was like, man, what they're doing to us and what they're doing to nature. And in case you didn't know it, they're starting in Florida. And this is another absurd thing to get us to react, to get us to, like, what do we want? And they are taking now the national parks, and they're going to turn them into, like, put some hotels and stuff like that, you know. They take all this primo land, and then they say, well, the government's going to protect this land, but we're going to put in some hotels and some casinos. Is that cool? Oh my God. So anyways, they're wanting, Florida wants us to all kick it in, but that's what, that's just the beta. It will be no time before they turn to all the national parks, because they're destroying all the cities. They're just going to move out and keep closing us in, and putting us in smaller and smaller and smaller, and keeping us sicker and sicker and sicker and more dependent. You got to push through into independence, and it's very uncomfortable, because dependency will kill you, and on all levels, on the micro, macro. So you think about all that stuff is in the soil. Then they keep the soil fucking wet nonstop. Like, the amount of days that there has been dry I'm in the forest, but I'm next to the forest. There's a whole lot of forest out here. And so, it's all by Mount Baker, and it's a big mountain thing. And so it's right at the Cascades. So anyways, there's lots of forests, lots of mountains. And like I've said before, you have to cross through that even to get out of here. And there's more and more shit being seen in the forest and stuff, which I got a really good understanding of that, of how when we think of the veil lifting is our awareness. The more of awareness that we have, the more that we become aware of. And the more that we become aware of, the more it ripples out and creates more awareness. And so then the more that people awaken, see it, that's not like a veil, it's not like something over. It is like, it's like shade. It's like something in your brain that keeps it. Just like, when you're not supposed to do something, it's going to hit roadblocks. Like you try and read something, you're not supposed to, it's not supposed to be something, you don't need that information yet. And you'll read it, or somebody will tell you something or something, and it just is like, wah, 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 and it just doesn't compute. And it just is like, just, it's like batting a flea off or something. And we just go about our day, but it goes straight into our planting a seed, because it assists all these little things, creates the fingers to lift the veil so that we begin to see clearly. And but it is all this, it's the illusion, it's breaking the illusion is what we're doing, is breaking through. And so anyways, back on this sickness thing, because it's fucking got me so pissed. The thing I just heard really got me, because I was already, because I was like, okay, so whatever, and I keep on being like, it's fucking mold and fungus. And when that shit gets inside of you, I feel certain of it. I feel like it. And I feel like that is what is with the dogs and stuff. I've got to figure out, like, I keep doing more things, but, and then, they want me to take him to the one lady said to take him to the vet yesterday. But then she said, well, she had a dog that was doing the same thing. This whole day yesterday was very strange, but it was also good, but it was just strange. And because when I had talked to her, she had said that she was, and it was, I had sent a message, and an hour later sent another message, hour later sent another message, and then I heard from her like an hour after that. And no, it was from 5, I think it was like 9. Yeah, so it was like 4 hours. And because I sent one at 5, at 6, and at 7, I guess. No, 5, 7, 8, or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, so she messaged back, and then she said she had a dog that was doing the same thing. And I was like, well, he's probably so sad, because he just is so sad looking all the time. Like, he just has the saddest eyes. It's so heartbreaking. And she said that she had another dog that was doing that. I said, see, that's what he was crying and having a fit when I left. I'm going to come back and see, because I'll just either leave him there with his litter mate, or I will bring it with me. We'll have to see, how it is with Stella. But I don't think that she was very engaged in the conversation, because she seemed to not understand that I was coming. I was coming right then. And I was, and I sent my ETA and stuff, but, that didn't work either. So it's like things happen the way they're supposed to happen for a reason. But he was just acting so, like, docile, and so just like, and he's looking kind of really skinny right now. And he just seems kind of weak and stuff. Like, he slept again all night last night. He didn't get up and go drink, and like he was at the very beginning. And it's like, man, if it is diabetes, I got to figure it out. But when I gave him that honey, that dose of sugar, see, that should have, if it was that would have brought him more out of it. But what seemed to bring him more out of it was when we drove to the thing and we got to the place. Then he became super, like, focused on me. And I had to go pee, and he comes in there, follows me in there, and he's just sitting there staring at me. He just kept, everywhere I go, he just would be sitting there staring at me like he was trying to send me telepathy, please don't leave me. And so I knew I was going to take him. And then finally got this other dog out there who was sick, and it hasn't even been fixed yet. And she said, well, he couldn't go, he has an appointment coming up anyways. It's like, so but then when they saw each other, then I mean, there was things I would have not driven out there, if I would have known that like how scared this dog was, and and it couldn't leave anyways. The one that she thought, maybe the one that he was missing, So then when we took them and they were around each other, but they both seemed very, I mean, this dog just started shaking. It was shaking. It was so scared. It was so scared. And she did say that when they came in, and they did, those two little scared ones, which Morty's one of them, and this other one got attacked by the other one. So there was these marks on him. But she thinks that was from, but I don't know, because they seem kind of healed, but I don't know, because he was only at her house for like 48 hours or something. And so then, but see, they could have gone through the shelter, and then they came from a hoarding thing, I think that she was saying then. So then it would be like, well, he didn't have like somebody he was close to. It's like, you just have no idea about their history or anything. About what I see is he's very sad and very depressed, and he doesn't feel good. And then if he, and it can totally be this mold and this fungus and stuff that there is out in the soil. And then you go and spend all this money going to the vets, and then they try, they're not looking at the right things. They're looking at, what the corporation wants us to go in and pay these huge amounts of money, and them not do the things. I don't know. The whole system is so jacked up. Like, it just really disgusts me. And so, I'm going to keep trying to work on doing natural stuff and just trying to take care of him, and also have respect for, I don't know if this is the end of his life, and it doesn't seem very fair to go and take him into the vet and have him jack him up on steroids. And, I don't know. All this stuff is always trying to figure out, like, what's the right thing. Monday, if he's still like this, I probably will go take him to the vet, but I don't think go to an emergency one, especially like that one time Stella went like 3 days without eating. And man, I swear to God, I brought her back from the brink, and she was stressing me out. What gave me the PTSD was that yesterday, on the way back, because they did have to be in the car for it was like 2 hours and 15 minutes on the way there, and then 2 hours and 25 minutes on the way back. Total pouring rain. That's how much it mattered to me to take him to go and see if his heart was broken, and find his person or his other friend that made him safe. And so drove through fucking total rainstorm to get there. And then, it just, and that dog was scared to death of Stella, like so scared, just like was shivering, just was so scared. One person was like, wait, go put the dog up. And so that's what I'm here to see. Like, I wouldn't do any good. Then I take this dog home and it's terrorized because it can't even move or anything. I said, I've already got Morty who goes possum all the time. As Stella gets close, he just freezes. He's like, oh, and he just stares at me like, please. And so, I don't know, he's had a hard life, and it just seems like, I mean, they're putting dogs to sleep all the time. They're not giving him proper medical treatment. It's a part of why, the rescues are having to give all this money to vets all the time. And I don't know. And I don't know, maybe if I feel like I'm looking at it in a more natural kind of way, like, maybe it's his time to go if he can't get himself better. And that's what I'm always hearing. It's like we have to, like, make ourselves better. We have to want it and stuff. It has to be something that we desire. Anyway, his heart's just too broken and he just wants to go. Like, it just seems like cruel to take him to the, well, no, you're going to take some medicine. We're going to put you on some steroids and stuff, because things have got to wear out and things so that we can leave this game and go out and to go to another one. And these are all souls. These aren't different than us. These are souls. Like, so it's just the costume, the vehicle is different, but the soul, we're all souls. And, different awarenesses. But fuck, there's a lot of dogs that to me seem like they have a lot of awareness, but they just don't have the communication, which that's a whole learning thing right there. So everything is about learning. And so anyways, I'm just going to keep watching him. But when I was driving with her, and I'm going to keep trying to do all the stuff, do all the natural things and take care of him and love him and give him lots of kisses and, get him to feel better. But, I don't know. I just feel like it seems weird, but I don't know. Monday I may go and take him and see. And then I asked Crystal too if what she does, because she does have a dog with diabetes, just in case, like if there's certain things I should be trying to feed him or something, because her dog's on insulin. So there's ways to work with their diabetes without having to have shots. So I can just start doing that. But anyways, so that's the whole thing. But I really, yesterday, after going through all that stuff, I was really seeing how much I really like him. I was like, God, he's breaking my heart. And, but so we drove, and on the way home, Stella started crying. And I was like, I was thinking, well, she's probably uncomfortable because I was so uncomfortable. And that's another thing what the rain does in this moisture. And I know I think he's got arthritis too, because he was licking his paws like Stella does. She'll lick her legs. It will be sometimes like before it starts raining. And I'll know it's going to start. And so that's why I'm always like, God, this weather. I need to start doing the fire again too, because that at least dries it out in here. But everything smells like smoke all the time. All my clothes, everything. It makes me kind of feel paranoid. Like when I go places, I feel like, is everything I just smell like smoke because I live in this little cabin in the woods. But I just need to get another place. And I keep thinking, like last night, I kept thinking, like, what other places? And I was trying to picture, where. And it's like something's got to open up. Because it just is like, it's like trying to look, and it just is too, it's like there's something that will open up, something that will become clear. Right now, I just have the drive, the motivation. And so when when we got back, and she wanted to go on a walk after, so I went to go take her on a walk, and that's when I started seeing that she was peeing a whole bunch of times. Like, she doesn't mark. And she was like peeing, 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 peeing. I was like, okay, so did she get a bladder infection that quick being in the car? Like, yeah, so I was telling her, you go drink a bunch of water and stuff. And so she did a bunch of pees, and then that happened a few times. So then in the period of time, where I'm in my quiet time in my mind, when there's, mostly it seems like it's in the middle of the night, then I was, when she was doing it, it started how the PTSD was Winston, because that's how it started with him. And then I started seeing just a whole bunch of stuff, like a blockage, and that I see like the difference, or if it was stones. And so I'm going to try and think about her diet, like thinking about kidney stones or whatever, and keep doing the ivermectin, because she did have a breakout of all of these cysts again. And so she could have a growth like in her kidney or something, or in her bladder or urethra or something. And then maybe that is making her feel like she can't get all the urine out. And then when I start thinking about all the tests and stuff, like it's fucking, what the money that they wanted me to do in Winston. And see, on the thing with him, this was what was weird, is he couldn't hold it. He couldn't push it out, but he couldn't hold it. It was just leaked nonstop. And so it wasn't really full, but I think it was pushing on a place that made it feel like he needed to go. And so whatever it was, and that's where they couldn't tell if it was a growth or if it was stones or whatever. But he was 12. And so what they wanted to do was they wanted me to fill his bladder, which it wouldn't stay full. Like, that is where this is where I started even arguing with the vet. And it's like, you're talking to someone on a script, and then it's like, well, that's not on there. So, and so then I started saying, well, what would be the next thing? Then what would we be looking for? What would be what it is that we're trying to figure out? And that's how I figured out, like, I found out about, it could be kidney stones, or it could be bladder cancer. It could be any kind of cancer in there, of a growth. Well, now we know more about those growths and what they really are. And so then, that was going to be a huge expense. And Winston was 110 pounds. He was a big golden retriever. He was a big chub. And but But he was big too. He wasn't just a big fatty. He was big. He was just big like Stella. And so, but not as big as Stella. But in the other day too, because you can get so caught up in just, feeling bad, and I wish I would have done it. But I did get some playback of some of his bad behaviors. But I was like, yeah, he did do that. God, there was a reason why I got mad at him. Because he would, like when he would go out, he would attack Stella. Like he would go out and bark at the fence. And Stella, so ever since she was a puppy, she'd run out with him, and start barking at the fence. They all love to do that, go bark at people when they walk by. But Stella would always attack Stella, or Winston would always attack Stella. He would get himself so worked up, he would attack Stella. And so I was thinking the other day when I was watching her, I was like, oh, that's nice. She's not getting attacked. She's just out there getting to run down the fence and bark. And she's always waving her tail. Oh, she's giving me hugs right now. She's listening to me. So anyways, that was giving me total PTSD. And then, but she said, so what they would do is they would figure it out. And then if it was things that would be like, I don't know if she said they do lasers, but surgery or whatever. It might have been laser surgery or something. And that was going to be a huge expense. Or if it was cancer, then you would have to go in, get surgery, get it cut out, and start all on chemo and stuff. And I was like, that just seems like a bunch of shit to do to a dog that's older. And then plus, like, how am I supposed to keep the urine in there so you can do these tests? Because he has to have urine in there so they can see, and it won't stay in. And that was like the worst, man. What I went through with that leaking urine, and it would leak. I would put tarps down and everything. It would go through everything. The floor, there's a lot of stuff I got to do at this place. And that's another thing, is like, man, is this place going to be underwater? Because I feel like that we're becoming underwater already. Like our ground just stays fucking saturated. And I just feel like it's got whatever they're spraying in. And I don't think it's like by any coincidence, as soon as all this rain started and this cold, and it keeps being like this big wind and cold and lightning, and that all the dogs started to get sick, but especially Morty's really not feeling good. But it was really stressing me out. Like I was like, oh my God, am I gonna have to go through another fucking bladder cancer or something? Like, what the fuck? So that is where you start, like the PTSD was kicking in, the stress, the fear, all that stuff, where you have to like wind it back down and pull yourself back, which is hard. And it's, to me, I feel like my higher self is talking to my current self. And my current self, it can be like a whiner. And my higher self will talk sense into them. And so there becomes like a conversation, and I, lower. And it's funny because I'll feel like these two sides of me. Even I'll feel like this one scattered side that is like panicking, and the other side is trying to be like, come on, you can do this. Calm down. Taking a deep breath. It's funny. So, and I mean, if you've never done that kind of stuff before, you can be thinking, okay, I feel a little crazy, but I've been doing it for so long. So, but you do have to talk yourself down off the ledge. You do have to, get yourself under control, and not, go do bad coping skills or something, because you can get yourself under control, but that practice builds up your emotional stability, I think. So anyways, and so then, and then, I can clear my head more in the conversation and stuff. And so I'm going to try on her to figure out anything about, so if anybody knows if their dogs have ever had any kind of kidney stones or anything, any of the stuff you take for that. I'm going to talk to my mom too, because she had, I think Sam, he had kidney stones, and he had to have a special diet and stuff. I don't think it's that. I think that it's the cyst and the growth, and I think it's from something that they're putting down on us. And this is where it really got me just, and I don't know if this is real or not, if this is a real whistleblower or not, or there's so many people making up so many fake videos and all this stuff, and I don't know if they're just trying to create chaos, or if it's the White Hats just trying to get information out there. But, we know this stuff is real. And so this whistleblower, she's saying that she was working for Gator, and that and now she's trying to tell, because it's too horrible. And so it has to do with the two things, the two different places. So Houston, what I've been talking about, and so South Carolina. So the sickness that is in these two places, that is in the news, that's being talked about. One is 15,000 cases and one's 40,000 or something like that, which, there's way more than that. That's just the ones that have been. But what starts getting you is like the whistleblower lady, which could be somebody who's trying to get this information out because everything was truthful, what she was saying. But you just don't know, like, if this is some kind of a thing, or if she really is a real person. But so the stuff that the people have, all these people, and she's saying that they were, so what they have in the stuff that they have been spraying, that it has the, the M and then that POX after. So it has a severe strain of that. The other thing that they brought back that is the 40,000 and 15,000, that they made it extra, booted it up. So they increased it. They did something so it's incurable. That there's nothing you can do, which I have no idea. Like, I have no idea. So, and then it's 2 years is the most you get. But the biggest thing is that they're not going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking at the MPOX. They're giving everybody this other DX code and telling them that they have this other thing, so they're not getting any kind of treatment for this other thing. They're pretending this other thing. So this other thing is going to devour them real quick while they're focused on this other thing. So it's this scheme of, and the POX is also jacked up on some kind of something. It's going to keep people in a sickness. See, he's doing that. He started doing that. It's going to keep people jacked up on a sickness for a couple of, it's supposed to be like for a year. And they're going to keep saying, oh, you've got the extended. So there's going to all of a sudden be these things, but it really was all on purpose. Just like all of this stuff was on purpose. And that they're going to come, or they'll probably already have it, one of these things that, if you've got the POX that, well, you got to get one of these. Well, you got to get another and another and another and another. So they're going to start a whole thing on that. But what they're really putting in is the other stuff that is already with the 15 and 40. So they've already got, so it's another way to get more of this, which is going to create more panic on the people. So more people will be going to get this so that they don't get that. And it really has the stuff for the other thing that they're going to pretend like isn't going on, so that there's this mass wipeout. And it, of course, it stresses me out because I've got a bunch of people in my familia who have did those ones, and I've hoped that they woke up to not get any more of them. But when they bring in new sicknesses and you think like that you can, so, we just got to watch how it plays out and see. But that is, man, it's so crazy because we just don't know what is going to be the big thing that's going to knock or, rock our socks off. And there's a really weird thing on the radar now that everybody's talking about, and it looks like a Mandela, or is that what those things are called? Mandelas? It looks like a design, like a kaleidoscope design. And then and it changed and stuff. And so it looks very much like it doesn't belong there. And it's huge, huge, huge. And so all these people are like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And like, just like that other anomaly, which that other anomaly, it still seems like is around somewhere. I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's, what is she called? Yeah, it's not Mama Tot. There's things blowing up on Mama Tot right now, though, because she's super popular, and I don't even know. All these different people who have all these different followers, it's going to be a lot of a lot of shaking, rattling, rolling, because people have to pull into independence, and it's kind of like they're going to be breaking down people and tearing them apart, and it's going to be a lot, and and a lot of people are going to get hurt and get their feelings hurt and stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff. I don't know if that's going to happen to her. I don't know. I just keep seeing these videos talking with this other one, and she's called Gam Potato. No, I can't think of what it is. I can share a video though if somebody wants to see it. But so she's saying that. So she's somebody who does all these anomalies, and people go and look at her stuff to see what she's saying. And so she said that when she did some reverse imaging, that it is some sort of a frequency. And so she was going more into it, and then she's saying something about CERN. And so I don't know if they're, because when she was first saying, I was thinking, okay, well, is this like something to do with the spin of whatever's happening, that things are going to change? And then she said something else, like, and then I thought, well, are they turning CERN on and they're creating a portal? Like, is it opening up on this side? And they're doing something, like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And then it also could be a ship, a giant mothership. It's giant, giant, giant. So, and then when I was thinking about motherships and stuff and ships, I was like, going on to a ship is like entering a portal. So a ship is a portal. Every doorway you go through is a portal, is an entry to another place. And when you go into a mothership, it's almost like you just enter into their world. And I think that there's, other worlds and stuff that people also have, but I don't know. There's some of these ships that are a whole other world, you know. It's like you go in and you're in another place. So I don't know. I think that there's going to be so much stuff that's going to be so interesting to get to experience and see. And I don't know. I just feel like there's so much magic coming. But, so, the DNC lady. So she said that she had signed up to work the convention, and that she works a lot with candidates and getting the money and stuff. And she said every single one that everyone, it doesn't matter what they're running for. She said they spend most of their time on the phone begging rich people for money. She said they don't, I mean, they talk some to the people, but mostly all they do is stay all day on the phone talking to rich people begging for money. She says just nonstop begging for money, begging for money. And then so what she's saying, so what we're really being run by is a bunch of rich people. And it's not the candidate. They're not running anything. It's like they owe all these people. And so she said, and what was really disgusting, and the one that was really, really getting her, and I guess Chris Cuomo had talked about it, and he had said that how disgusting it was at the convention because they had these booths, like at a sporting event or something, where they have these I don't know, little rooms or something. I've been in one of these at a sporting things or something. It's just like a living room, but you have like the front part is windows, and it's just like a room, and it depends on whose room you have. It could have like snacks or whatever. I think some of them have like wait staff, go get your drinks and stuff. Like you're treated, like you're rich. And Chris Cuomo, I think, was the one who was saying like the donors paid like $500,000 for these different rooms to come to this thing, and maybe somewhere 100,000. I don't know. It was some huge amount of money that these donors paid to have these rooms. So this is how much these people are paying to control us, to try and get control over us. These are the people who are the real pervs, who want the rest of the people to be pervs, These people is where it all is the nucleus. The people who are these money hoarders who are like wanting to control the government and stuff. So, and I mean, why in the fuck, man? And they're all just trying to get something. Swear to God. And it's just disgusting the way they hoard the money, especially like that you can walk past people who have nothing, but there's people who have jobs who walk past homeless people like they're nothing. It's like, man, what is wrong? Like, but that is where a lot of people are going to be knocked to a humbled place. There'll be a lot of people like jobs, they're going to lose their jobs. So many more people losing their homes all the time. Like, it's nonstop. People losing their homes, animals going homeless because corporations don't want animals in their houses now and they want everybody to rent. It's just like they're just creating so much chaos. And so she was saying how disgusting it was when she, realized all these rich people are sitting up there and even looking down on the rest of us. And they're the ones making all the rules. They're the rulers over us and they look down on us and they don't care about us and they don't want what's best for us. And then you just look at the agenda and so, and she said, it's just so crazy because I thought this was the party for the people, that this was and this is the same thing, see, that I thought. That's why I supported this party for so long, because I thought they were the ones for the people. They were the ones that were there to try and create programs and stuff. So there wasn't poor people and they were, the ones that were trying to help. And I looked at the Republicans as the ones that were for the rich people, the ones that were for the people who had money. I could never understand why my mom was always voting Republican and she wasn't rich. I was like, you're just supporting rich people and what it is they want. It's like, I didn't understand at all. But it has so much to do with conservative and church. So see, they get these people under this umbrella. And so, but it's like, Mom, but all of us, like, because then, all of us do-gooders, all of us that wanted everybody to have everything and not, no suffering and stuff, then we were believing this other group. So we were all being tricked. Everybody's been being tricked, and that's why everybody's got to wake up to. And so many people, because she was even like, I don't want to go and, just switch and become Republican. And I just said in the comments, like, I stopped. It's like, what we got to get rid of is the government. Why do we need these people over us? Why do we need this governing force and giving these people any say over us? This is where it's got to stop, and it's already had started stopping when the justices were coming back at us and saying, "Oh, well, the federal government can't, they can't do this, they can't say this," and people were getting so freaked out. It's like, this is a good thing. This is taking us away from all of what the control that they've tried to create over us to keep us under their thumb. So all this stuff is good. And then plus it has to do with awakening and seeing, so that you can see like that they can't, but it's like all of us have to come to that conclusion for ourselves. We have to realize for ourselves. Another thing too that I thought was kind of interesting, which I think this is a plan, is so I don't, I really don't know about, Kennedy. I have no idea. Like it's hard to say because there is, I don't know. There's just so much information on so many different people. It's just like, but everything's going to play itself out. So, it's kind of pointless to try and figure out a good guy, bad guy, good guy, bad guy, because there's people fucking Scooby-Doo mask and it's like, oh, here I am. So I would, it's just like a waste of energy kind of. But what it seems like is playing out though is so he's not going to take these, he's going to not do these certain states. So he's not going to be on the ballot in these certain ones, but he's only going to be in these other ones. So I was like, boy, if you were trying cheap, boy, that sure would make it so much more complicated what he just did. Like, that would make it so hard to be able to like, just think about it. Because then, they can go in there when it's just blue and red. And then they can say, oh, look, all the blue. We haven't saw the blue. Yeah, nobody likes that guy over there. And everybody's blue. But then when you see, like, oh, because it's all fucking fake. And now they got, like, how many billion people here to, hand them over fake ones. I swear to God, this is so absurd. It's just so absurd. I just cannot believe people keep playing along with this shit. So when the yellow all of a sudden jumps in the mix in these other ones and is taking out these ones, well, how are you going to be able to say, well, he got this many and he got, like, you'd have to be, I don't even know. I just, that's all I could hear is like, this is a big, fuck you. Let's see, fix this one of numbers. We'll see what you can do with this one. Because, how they did the number. This just blew me away the other day. It was like 4 motherfucking years. 4 fucking years. Like, think about that. A whole thing. Completed his whole motherfucking thing and wasn't even, it blows my mind, and how much how much was shown on the cheating, and that you still have these people sitting there saying that he just says this. It's like, the proof is all out there. What in the psycho world do you fucking live in? Like, and even some of these reporters, are you just goddamn puppets? And you really don't see things? You don't, are you just not too bright? Like, are you just a sellout? You'll say whatever just so you can be on the news? Like, what the fuck, man? And so, you have to be really under a rock to not know that guy, cheated the whole fucking thing. That was the other guy won. And so that is absurd. I just can't even believe we've gone through the fucking whole thing. And then what's really weird too is some of this stuff. Oh, and this is what that one lady, the whistleblower, was saying. Is that Gator was saying that this had to be done because we have to do this so we can get back in control of the planet and stuff. And there's way too many people and stuff. It's bullshit. It's like too much for y'all. Just leave us alone. We'll be fine. Is that, we don't need your food. We don't need your shit. Just let us go and figure our shit out. Just leave us alone. But no, they need to wipe all the people out. And so she said that she believed it for a while. And then whatever happened, that she started realizing what was going on. This is just genocide, and that's what they are 100% doing. And all these people that just play along, and these reporters and stuff, it's like, it's weird. It's like, I don't know. Some of them just seem like so stupid. Like, just puppets. And there's not... definitely not giving us non-biased information. It's all fucking tainted. And so let me think where I was. So, oh yeah, because if we go this whole time, so supposedly what it's supposed to be is he goes through all of every single thing he made an order on or whatever is all going to be obsolete. All the people. And this is what's weird too, because they already did this whole thing about the swearing in. It was all this proof of all these people that never swore and did never sound like in all of their stuff. It must be a part of, because there's so many of these things that lead nowhere. Like, you just hear about them, and then it's just like you expect something to happen. Like, how many impeachment things do we have to, like, this is just the weirdest. And so it is just going to be like a part of the chaos that just takes down the government, because it's just so absurd. So I don't know. I don't know how there's more stuff with it seems like there was more stuff like with common. I don't know. There's so many different videos going around. There's one, people saying that she's drunk all the time and that she's got issues with that. Whatever is going to go, it's all going to blow up somehow. It's just like, but, I thought, no way did I think Joe was going to fucking finish out his thing. Like, no, man, I can't. But then you see how it just gently wakes these people up. Like this girl who's just like started seeing, and then oh my god, to see what it was. Must be the squirrels. Must be a squirrel. At least it wasn't a person coming through the door. That scared me to death. Shh. Listen. I don't know if you could hear that bird that sounds like a tropical bird. If you could hear that over the thing. There's been a few of these. It's like this tropical sounding bird. It's like, that sounds so weird. So I'll have to go out and feed the squirrels. I feed them every day, but that must be why he's up on the porch looking for some food. Because I don't know what else it could be. If it made that much noise, a mouse you shouldn't be able to hear. So, anyways, let me think. 55, 35. Because it seemed like there was some more stuff. It was like so much stuff that I was like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta talk about that. I gotta talk about, and there'll be so much stuff, and then it's hard to remember it all when I start talking. Is there's just so much. There's so much going on. There's so many things happening. There's so much tragedy. There's so much chaos, and you know, and I mean, it's clear like who our enemy is, if you ask me. And there is, I saw, where was this? Oh, South Korea. South Korea, I've seen it in England, but at these protests where they start getting all chanty about Donald, that they get all like, oh, everybody loves him. And I was thinking, some more people in our country need to question, like, why do other people in other countries love him? Like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not noticing something. All these other people, like, want him to come be their leader. He must not be that bad. So, I don't know. I feel like that's a part of awakening, but I'm already awake to that part. So, I don't know. When I hear people talk about things, then that's when it's like, oh, that's working. That's working. Like, I didn't think like just switching from Joe to Kamala would be the same thing as Bernie to Hillary. But yeah, she was all in on Joe. And when it switched to the other person, and she said, and nobody was talking the whole thing. She said there was nothing positive. Nobody's saying anything about, you know, we'll get this taken care of, and we'll get this done. It was like, so what those other people are saying, just a bunch of hate and just a bunch of rhetoric, just a bunch of bullshit. There's no problem solving because they don't care. They're getting their money from these other people, and then they're going in this other tier above us and investing, getting all this stuff. Like, they're all, you know, some of them are invested into Pervin. Like, you know, well, then if they get all these people, then they, you know, they can freely go and perv. And that's another thing, too, that I was thinking about, you know, like the guy in Home Depot. And how obvious he was. And I was like, oh my God, it's so disgusting. And and so many people have been caught perving on people in stores. I mean, guys are being caught like walking up to girls and they've got mirrors on the bottom. Like, what in the world? Like, you're that desperate to, and it's all over the web. I'm like, what in the world? Like, people are so strange, man. But I was thinking it was because the shroud. See, we weren't seeing. It's us. It's us that are waking up. That's why we're seeing this stuff. That's how it was. That was being shown that. It's because it was like, it is us that are starting to realize and starting to notice. So then we start looking around and being like, oh, that guy over there, watch out for that one, watch out for this. Oh, they're trafficking. You know, as we wake up, we start noticing what our surroundings are, our environment. But I think all those people have always been there. They've just been shrouded in covered in the dark. They've always been able to creep around us because we were all being influenced to pay attention to the wrong thing. And we were all, you know, busy and strapped with, having to hurry and get to the next thing, get to work, get to your kids thing, and then think about even with the schools, how many, what we're going to do all these programs, we're going to have all these evening programs when really that is so much stress on parents to have to get home, hurry, feed your kids dinner, get them up there, get them a costume, like they have to have a certain kind of dress, or they have to wear khakis with a blue shirt or something. There's always something, and there's always these poor kids that can't afford it. There's kids, my kids have gone in before and worn funky things to those things. It's like, who has time for all this? And it's just, I swear to God, it's a part of to just keep us running on fucking circles. And they try and build it as it's like a building community, but it's not. They're not building community. How we build community is when we all come together, when we start, when we come together, we put up farmers markets, when we put up flea markets, when we put up places where we can socialize and gather, just like how in other countries there's marketplaces and stuff, and all the community goes there and gathers, and you talk to real people and about stuff in your community. Like right now we're all talking to each other, but we're all really spread out. And oh, this girl, okay, Crystal got a weird letter from the government thing. Like, I don't even know. She's in Oklahoma. This girl, I'm not sure. She also has a southern accent. I'm not sure where she was. I would say somewhere in the South. And she's gay and has a wife. And she got a letter from a new neighbor that is sent. I don't know. She said a whole bunch of people got this letter. This letter is so fucking outrageous. I was like, you need to call the FBI. This is outrageous. This is crazy. Like, what? And the another thing that was being made so clear to me was the hierarchy and the ego, how it works together, and how religion plays off of that. I won't even be able to say all the stuff in this letter. For one thing, it's so crazy though. For one thing, they are religious, and their King James version is the only real thing. They burn every other version of the Bible that they get their hands on, and King James is their holy grail. And when you go in, and it's like, God damn, people are so wacky, man. It's like, well, I'm going to take this book and it means it all. And it's like, but see, the people start believing it because you do have a connection. So it gets this connection going, but you're being misled and you're fucking in the dark. You've got a lot of darkness around you when you are this fucking hateful. And so this letter, it was saying, like, it has a few different things. Like, they believe all the blue people and all of the people that are a certain religion in the Middle East. So they believe those people are just horrible people that need to be killed. I don't even remember. They're people who are I can't even remember what all is said in this letter. I mean, this letter was intense. I can't remember all of the different things. There was 5, but I remember the one because they sent it to a gay person, and they said, and they also believe all gay people should be lined up and shot because all they are is groomers. This oh, can you imagine moving into a neighborhood you don't even know the people, and you're just gonna make sure you guys know who I am? This guy was like, is this just, is this happening all over the place? Is this part of the awakening? Are these people for real? But, that's like, those people should be arrested for, and the girl was like, isn't this like a threat and stuff? And it came across the mail. I was like, yes. Like, fuck yeah, and call the FBI on that. Because there's one thing too that there is it was like there was an internal breakdown. And so there's a lot of the people who were in these agencies that were corrupted have all been being arrested and stuff. Like, they've been taking people down right and left. And some of these agencies now are, I think, there to kind of assist with the transition. And so I would think, that's who I would call. I would call them and turn that letter in. She said her wife got so pissed she tore it up. So the girl taped it back together. I was like, don't throw that away. Dude, that's evidence. What the hell? But see how people overreact and just, how dare them? It's like, that's a crime. Like these people are crazy. Like this is not people that you want. This is like, like we got the militia just coming out and saying, okay, you guys are just trying to control us just the same way these other people are. And then you are all caught up, jacked up on fucking God is on your side. It's like God's not on the side of hate. Sorry. I don't know what you people think. You want to sit there and think God. Okay, well, you're pulling a God, all right. You're pulling in some kind of fucking evil, darkness, because, your idea of what God is about light and love, not about hierarchy and ego and evil and controlling others. That's why if we want to be ascending, we have to let go of control of others. We got to let people just wake up on their own. We got to let people live the experience they came to here to experience. We got to just allow everyone to live their lives and not try and be over them and tell them how to live it. And, well, God says you got to do this, and God says you can't cuss. Well, God says you can't dance. Well, God says you. It's like, I'll go to my internal guidance. And my internal guidance is God says, get your ass out there and dance. Get out there and laugh. Get out there and have fun. Dance your fucking ass off. And who cares who's looking? Like, enjoy your life. Enjoy, and that brings the energy into the planet of joy. And there's so much involving around hate and division, and then these people so up in their ego, man, thinking that they are on they've got God in their pocket. It's like, I don't know who's in your pocket, but it's not somebody I want in mine. You are, well, I don't know. It's weird because there's so much draw on the dark, and people have such little awareness. They don't understand. That's why the lights are going to come on. That's why it's going to be seen. You are going to see what it is that you worship, what it is you idolize. And it's moving through, like there's a veil coming off of all these different things, like worshiping the government and thinking that they'll solve our problems and stuff. When it's us that we've got to figure out our own problems, figure out how to solve our own problems, and go to the universe and ask them, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? That's what I'm always doing. Like, what am I supposed to do about this? And, my inclination is to just keep taking care of the dogs, do what I can to take care of Morty. And, I probably will take him to the vet tomorrow if he's still being real, but it's kind of like he just feels like tired and sick. Like, I don't know. And then with them all, and then with this sickness that they keep showering down on us, and knowing that it's the biopon we, little word salad there, just, mix it up a little bit. The bio is the main ingredient. So, and they've been, testing on this for years and years and years. And they know different places and different things. Like over here, I'm sure whatever is going on is this fucking fungus and mold and shit that is got to be getting everybody sick. And because they're going to work with what your environment is. So whatever the different things, but I feel like, it's time for us to kind of get to drier soil or something, get some time to dry out, like for fuck's sake. And that's another thing, like, it's kind of like going to the killers to ask them, like, well, what do we do? How do we save ourselves? Well, just take these pills and you'll feel better. No, we're going to have side effects. Like, it's only going to cause him more things. They put him on stuff, and I don't want to put him on steroids. Like, it's just a whole thing. Like, if you've ever had any dogs on steroids and stuff, and it's just like, it's like kind of kick your system in or something. But if your system's trying to wind down, and then because I don't know, Mickey went on steroids a few times with his skin condition, and so did Winston. And sometimes it'll make him real, just pissy, make him really in a bad mood. So I know it jumps him up. So I don't know. If he's still feeling super down like this, I probably will take him tomorrow and see, and then do whatever medicine, because he's not mine. I'm fostering him. And so, but I don't want to be all, over run into the doctor for everything either, because it has to do with us. It has to do with us kicking in and, healing ourselves. And we got to use, it's all our mind, body, spirit. You got to pull in on yourself. And when things come in and tell you, no, you're going to die, you're going to be sick, you got to push that information back and say, I'm not listening to that. I'm going to get better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. That's what I did with this eye thing, because that eye thing freaked me out, man. It was weird because I could literally see something inside my eye. It was big. It was like it was cutting through half my vision. And it was like I was like trying to look through this big bubble or something. And, and I've got all this stuff going on. Because I've got the sickness, whatever, from my side, the Botox sites, and whatever that created. And then with the inside, them collapsing my optic nerve. And then whatever, when their treatments and stuff, like the laser, all that did was cause some kind of problem. And I know all these people who have got LASIK, they must have something going on, like the same with what the laser did to my eyes. But they're all getting depressed and killing themselves and stuff. It's like, you gotta kick it in. You gotta start really focusing on your health and taking care of yourself. And, I mean, we were all fucking petri dishes full of fucking nonsense at this point. Like, anybody who thinks that they're just don't have anything, it's like, we've all got shit. You got to be just going at it every day of taking care of yourself and trying to detox and stuff. 'Cause man, we're totally under attack. And I don't know. Something's going to go down. Something is going to turn everything the other direction. And there will be an aftermath. And I certainly hope it's like way before 2 years where they're giving us this death sentence. And that could be a whole thing of like the gravity of the situation when it really sinks in. Because I had said it's going to be like all these people wake up in the mouth of the beast. And so it could be that that is a part of the gravity of the situation when whatever is going to happen that turns the other direction. And that's why I think there's going to be a necessity for the med beds, but there's going to be a necessity for all these healing centers. But there's going to be more information, more technology. So even if they think like they've outsmarted us and that they're going to kill us all off, on their long game, but when that thing is turned, that's technology is going to, come in and it's going to change everything. But it does have so much to do with you and the fight, going and kicking it into high gear, that you want to take care of yourself, you want to save yourself, you have value. And so it's you who creates the change. And so when you're just back and just have given up and given up, like what it seems like with Morty, he just seems like he's just given up. But I don't know, he could just be that sick, but I don't see what is making him sick. But if it is like, if he has allergies to molds or something, or if he got some fungus from the moisture, I don't know. But he just doesn't seem sick other than just being tired and kind of lethargic. And I was feeling his heart yesterday, and it seemed real perfect. And his breathing seems perfect. He's had a few of these like sneezing kind of things, which made me think like, well, if he got some, gunk up in his nose, because dogs are all sniffing the ground nonstop, eating the grass nonstop. And then so any of these funguses and molds and crap can be going up inside them, and then they have to fight it. They have to fight it back, like your body, your will to live has to fight back. And when you don't have the will to live and you try and go do artificial, then, I mean, it could, but also I feel like me giving him loving and giving him that kind of stuff also give you the will to live. So I don't know. We'll just have to keep seeing how it plays out. There was something, seems like there was something yesterday that I watched that I was something that I wanted to talk about with it. Let me think what it was. Because it was a movie. It was new. Oh, it was a serial killer movie. But no, it was something else. There was something else I'd seen that I wanted to talk about. I can't think of it. See, when it's like it's like the things that it's like things like a light comes on things. Like you're looking in your brain and a light comes on, and then you can see this, you can see that. But when nothing comes on, it's like you can't see it. Like I can't see. And so that's where I'm always like, well, it was the things that I'm supposed to talk about, the light comes on and I can see it. So now, I don't know. Basically, to me, the main thing is the sickness. There's just, whatever it is that they are putting on us. And then there is, but it's very serious if that whistleblower thing is right, which I think, even if it's made up, it probably is true, like a leaked out information to get us to see. And because they are pushing hard on the pox, man, and the triple E and all this extended, this is all so fucking, it's got the fraud written all over it, man. Just like that little frog. So he's like Dr. Evil, man. He's like the worst. It's like, ugh. Doesn't make you think like when we were kids, you shouldn't be ever mean to the little fucking shit fucker. Like, you gotta be nice to all the kids because they grow up and they become really mean. And if they're smart, they figure out how to kill us all. So, and I think that probably that little guy probably got made fun of a lot in school, and it's made him hate the world. Because why would you want to destroy something if you loved it? So, I mean, that's what we're all trying to do, is learn how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's up to you. So, talk to you later. Bye.